PowerPlayChess, brought to you in association with Kagi. White to play and win. This game is Fabiano Caruana against Alireza Firouzja from the recent Superbet Classic played in Bucharest. This is actually one of the tiebreak games, so it's a blitz game. We can therefore forgive the players for inaccuracies. It's still a very complicated position. You can see White has these three pawns edging closer to promoting. One of them is just one step away, but it's actually very hard to make progress here because, of course, if the knight moves, then the king can take the pawn. And, well, as I said, White to play and win, you've got to think that out. You can always pause the video. I want to show you what happened in the game. Caruana played king e5, and then there are lots of checks from the side, and actually the king isn't going anywhere. The checks from the side, well, there's no shelter. So that's why Caruana decided to bring his king round, and he's looking for a safe spot on h5. And at this point, Firouzja blundered. It is still a draw if rook c5 is played. My goodness, I'm tripping over my words. That's actually an excellent defensive move because at some point it's going to prevent one of those pawns from advancing. You can compare with what happened in the game, because rook a6 was played, and this is now winning. So the king is safe here, and then this pawn advances, and basically there isn't a way to prevent the pawn reaching f8. So here, this was the end of the game. And one last trick. Firouzja attempted a stalemate trick. Well, of course, if that's taken, it's stalemate, but this is a neat way out. King g4, and here Firouzja resigned because if rook g5, again, don't take it because of stalemate, but king f4 avoids all the tricks, and that's just winning for White. Right, let's take you back to our starting position. So how should White play? There is a forced win for White in this position. It's really neat. Okay, are you ready? G6. So that prepares to give the king a beautiful spot on g5. Well, prepares just moving the knight back basically. But it does mean, yes, if there's a check, then the king can come to g5. So first things first, if king takes, then of course White gets a queen. That's the end of that. So what about rook takes? Well, king g5 is the move. The threat is to play h8, queen, and then you take the rook. So the rook has to move away. Okay, now what for White? Well, in fact, you want to drag the rook back to this square. So if takes, then here. And luckily for White, the king is in the right position. And we all know that one. White wins. Okay, well, hang on. It's still not so clear. What about king h8? How does White win now? Tricky. So if g7, you can just take the pawn. And if king h6, you take that pawn. But here you play f7. Well, moving back won't do any good at all because king h6 and g7. But what about the stalemate trick? This is such a common motif in endgames. So that is stalemate. Okay, so how do we win? Well, in fact, king f5 is still winning. Because how is this pawn stopped? Well, king g7 won't help because, well, one of them will go through. So, for example, doesn't matter how you do it. Let's do that one. Well, you can even save yourself some time and trouble by taking this one. And if king h7, then yes, you get a queen. And yeah, watch out for the stalemate trick, rook g5, but the king can just step back and then queen against rook is a theoretical win. So there we go. In that position, g6 is the winning move with the follow-up king g5. But yeah, that's a very nice variation actually with this and f7. And king f5 is still winning for white, incredibly. There you go. Hope you enjoyed that. Click through to chesspuzzle.net for more puzzles.